Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Jazakumullah khair for being true leaders and showing up on Sunday morning. It is definitely great to see some familiar faces. MashaAllah, assalamu alaikum ukhti. Aisha, Basma, MashaAllah. Yumna, ahlan wa sahlan. It's great to see some old students. MashaAllah. They're all grown up. Remember Basma when she was half that height. MashaAllah. Oh, okay, it's the heels. Very good, MashaAllah. Jazakumullah khair for coming. Brother Rishad Jazallah khair recited from Surah Al-Kahf, إنهم فتية آمنوا بربهم وزدناهم هدى. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to make us amongst those that are seeking the huda and ready to act upon it. Bismillah, alhamdulillah, wa sallallahu ala rasulillah wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'een. Preserving Muslim identity. Muslim identity. What does identity mean to us? Why is it a topic of discussion? And so what if we have an identity or not? If I say the word identity, how would it resonate with you? Who can just give us a word on what does identity mean to you? When we say identity, what does it mean to you?
Definition of who you are.
Definition of who you are. What else?
Your ideas or what you associate yourself with.
Ideas. Very good.
What
Values. Excellent. Right. And you read on identity, and it's very important. I really advise all of you, every time you're using not a new term, but when you're discussing a term, I highly, highly advise for all of us to go back and read on the definition of the term. Because one of the biggest problems and confusions that we have in our time is the misunderstanding of the terms or the different meanings of the terms. So different people have different meanings. It really affects the communication or understanding of what we're about to discuss. So identity, as you all said, it's related to your ideas, your belief, even your look, right? The look of a sister is an identity. Your values, your qualities, your personality, this is your identity. طيب, what's so important about the identity? The most important thing about the identity is the relation of the identity to our belief. Our belief. As Muslims, we do things differently. We're weirdos, according to some. And maybe fanatics or radicals, according to others. You know why? Do you know why? Or maybe backwards according to others. Do you know why? Because we hold on to our roots. And that's the key word here. It's holding on tight to what? To the rope of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. A person that holds on tight to something might be viewed as rigid. Why? Because they're expected to do what in an open multicultural society? You expected to? Or to? What's the message that every political leader comes with? No, what's the word? Change. You're expected to change. Change meaning development, meaning modernization. So the perception of change is for you to leave behind your roots. Because the perception that everything you know, the baggage that you have, is wrong and bad, and it's been proven maybe destructive or maybe negative. And this perception came from where? Especially when it comes to religion. Right? Where did this perception come from? It came from Europe, Dark Age Europe. Because religion in the Dark Ages was a source of what? It was a source of backwardness, destruction, injustice, abuse. So religion went through a phase of a complete association with everything bad in mid-age, dark age Europe. So your growth and prosperity and everything good has to be based on you leaving that source of darkness, which is religion. We all need to know this. Why? Because living in a multicultural society that is built by European background people, this is how they think. Now, that will put a lot of pressure on us. I'm going to get to that in a second. But I want to start with, our identity is based on something extremely important, which is our religion. Our religion is based on something really important, which is the guidance, our system of halal and haram. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said in Surah Fussilat, وَمَنْ أَحْسَنُ قَوْلًا مِمَّنْ دَعَا إِلَى اللَّهِ وَعَمِلَ صَالِحًا وَقَالَ إِنَّنِي مِنَ الْمُسْلِمِينَ. I want you to remember this ayah when you think of identity. Because a lot of people will come and tell you, Ya akhi, common good. Good values. We're all good to each other. Khalas, and there's no need to go beyond that. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying, the best words are the one that comes from a person that will do good deeds. Amal salih. Who can do good deeds? Is it only Muslims that do good deeds? Let's be realistic. Is it only Muslims that do good deeds? No? No. A lot of good people out there, they do good deeds. First of all, da'a ilallah, sorry. Da'a ilallah. Is it only Muslims that yad'u ilallah? Take it by its surface value. It could be a wrong da'wah, but is it only Muslims that make da'wah ilallah? No. Is it only Muslims that do good deeds? No. Atheists and a lot of people that are disbelievers and they have absolutely no belief, they do good deeds. Very good deeds. Philanthropists that pay millions of dollars. Right? But then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, وَقَالَ إِنَّنِي مِنَ الْمُسْلِمِينَ. Direct invitation to do what? So you're not just asked to do good deeds. You're asked to preserve your identity, that your good deeds is coming from where? From your Islam. Because how many times have we met or faced with a situation where people said, if it's all about being good, khalas, being good, I don't have to be a Muslim or look a Muslim or feel a Muslim. It's about good. What do you think, Basma? You're nodding on this.
I'm saying, yeah, a lot of people think that.
Tell us one simple story.
Well, a lot of times when we were dealing with like MSA, a lot of people would come and they would say like, oh, I don't believe in religion, but I'm a good person.
Very good.
And or sometimes we get a lot of people who have conflicts with things in religion. Like for example, there was a girl, she wanted to marry a Christian man, and she was saying, I don't have to be Muslim. I know God knows that I'm a good person. So a lot of times.
Excellent. So this is real.
Yeah.
This is one of the most scary traps out there. Is ya akhi, just be good. He's a good man. He doesn't have to be a Muslim. He's almost a Muslim with his akhlaq. He's got a manners of a Muslim. So what does Muslim mean? Khalas, it's done. It's the akhlaq, it's the way they do this. It's Allah knows my heart. I don't have to pray, Allah knows my heart. We're hearing these things out there. No. وَقَالَ إِنَّنِي مِنَ الْمُسْلِمِينَ. That means, no, it doesn't work. It doesn't work. Why doesn't it work? Because everything, every structure in life has an anchor. Let's just imagine we're going camping next weekend. The weather is all of a sudden beautiful, and we have this beautiful tent, huge tent, and we set the tent up. and we forget to do what? We don't anchor it. I'm getting way too engineering here, but we forget to anchor it. What's going to happen to this tent? One blow, and it's gone. So al-akhlaq, goodness, being kind, charity, help, without the anchor means nothing. You know why? Because it could change in a blink of an eye. If that same person that has this beautiful akhlaq goes through some sort of a hardship, do you think they would flip 180 degrees? Yes, they would. Because al-insan, as Rasulullah said, al-qulub bayna isba'ayn min isba'ay ar-Rahman yuqallibuhum kayfa yasha. Or al-qalb yuqallibu kayfa yasha. Our hearts are subjected to continuous change. As humans, we are not constant. We react to emotions. Today I'm sad, tomorrow I'm happy. My akhlaq could change 100% in the two different states. So the first point that I'm making right now is the importance of identity, which is related to an anchor that will anchor your akhlaq and make you have the same akhlaq no matter what happens. Whether you're sad or happy, under pressure or stress-free, your akhlaq will never change, and that will only happen if you're anchored innani min al-muslimin. Because when you are innani min al-muslimin, that means you're tied to whom? To Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, al-hayy alladhi la yamut, alladhi la yataghayyar. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that never changes. Everything else around us in creation is ever changing, except Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the creator. So, preserving identity means, first of all, you have to have a constant anchor of your identity, and that only comes with Islam. Because let's just look around us. What happens to Christianity? Completely changed. Because it got disconnected from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Now the idea is there, but the real ta'aleem, the teachings, got disconnected. This is why thousands of books, different ideas, different, everything is different. There's no oneness in the deen anymore. Our system that defines our identity, it's causing us a lot of challenges. Why? First of all, our system that defines our identity, it's a system, to make it extremely simple, as ulama call it, it's a system of do's and don'ts. What makes a Muslim a Muslim? What makes you a Muslim? Yeah. And after Shahada Allah, Tawheed, what makes you a Muslim in your actions? Basically, so it's our actions, our do's and don'ts. Can you hide your do's and don'ts? So you got a child in school, let's say in public school, and they bring pizza, and this pizza has pepperoni on it. This child looks like every other child in the classroom, but all of a sudden he's identified as a Muslim. How? I don't eat pork. Huh? You go out in a business meeting, you're in a business world, you go out with your colleagues, you're celebrating a big deal, and they end up drinking. You say, I don't drink. You're identified as a Muslim. Immediately, right? It's the do's and don'ts that identify our personality. This is our identity. We don't do this, we do this. We don't have premarital relationships. We don't eat pork. We don't accept certain behaviors and actions. We do this, we pray 5 times a day. This is us. And this system of do's and don'ts is governed by the halal and the haram. And the halal and the haram is based, again in simple terms, on the principle of ad-darar wa nafa, benefit and harm. Al-Ghazali rahmatullah alayhi said, اعلم أن الحرام كله خبيث. Know with certainty that everything is haram. It's because it's khabith. It's because it's bad. It's harmful. Khabith, harmful. لكن بعضه أخبث من بعض. But it's also a grade. There are some really harmful things, and some things that might not, some people might argue, oh, this is not harmful, or it has some benefits in it, like al-khamr. فيهما إثم كبير ومنافع للناس وإثمهما أكبر من نفعهما. There might be some of this and some of that, but eventually it's the final effect. وَالْحَلَالُ كُلُّهُ طَيِّب. And whatever is made halal, it's because it's طيب. And when it's طيب, تطيب له النفس, it's beneficial. It has some benefits to you. ولكن بعضه أطيب من بعض, but it's also a gray. Some of it might be really, really good to you, very, very beneficial. Some of them holds very small benefit. But in general, our identity, and I'm trying to tie things to your identity that's just beyond the beard, or beyond the look, or beyond the hijab, which are important, I'm not dismissing. But I want you to tie it into your system of your operating system, if you will. Your operating system as a Muslim is halal and haram, harm and benefit. It's important for us to know this so we can kind of mitigate the challenges. Because in general, people that have principles or religions, how do they adhere to their principles? Most likely it's blind following. So if I come and ask you now, but what is the problem if you're having a system of halal and haram and do's and don'ts and harm and benefit? It sounds very logical. It sounds very logical. I mean, who would go against that? Nobody. We live in a world of systems. We live in a world, everything around us is do's and don'ts. We've got traffic laws. They call it the land of law and order. Sahih? Everything is about laws. And for us as Muslims to have laws and orders, it doesn't sound bad. However, we know we have a lot of challenges. And we know that some of those challenges is diligent work to get you Muslims away from that system of do's and don'ts. Why? First of all, we need to know that again, to be fair, we always need to be fair. I'm not talking about conspiracy theories, and I'm talking about, someone hiding behind the corner wants to harm us just for no reason. I'm talking realistic here and fairness. The society that we live in, this beautiful multicultural society, as we said, the European roots of it truly believe that religion is a source of destruction, backwardness, because that's the experience that they got from Europe. Give you a story. A grade 8 student who had just arrived to Canada 1 year prior to that incident from Egypt, she came to me with her parents saying, a teacher in her class, a civic studies teacher, very, very kind man, very, very nice man, all the beautiful values that you would want in a human being. He is continuously, every single class, pointing out to his grade 8 students in a classroom that's over 80% maybe or more Muslims, telling them that there's something wrong in your Quran. The Quran is wrong. Islam is wrong. Continuously. Now, let's take this as a case study of the challenges of our identity in this society. Why would a teacher do that? Why would that teacher continuously talk to grade 8 students? How old are grade 8s? 13. Why would he continuously tell them? Every time he's talking about something, one time she told me he had a newspaper. He's talking about something completely different, and then on the corner, oh, by the way, look at this article. It says that there are flaws in the Quran. Why would he diligently do this? Did anybody pay him to do this? Is he working with some secret organization to drive Muslims out of their deen? I personally don't think so. Why do you think he's doing that? He's doing it with very good intentions. I went to school and I didn't allow me to meet with him, but I met with the principal and I knew how the students love him. He did it with very good intentions. Because first of all, he believes that our religion is bad. He believes that our religion, like any other religion, could be a source of destruction and could be a source of darkness. And he wants to save his students. He loves his students. Right? And then he's really trying his best to correct the situation and help the students flourish. So that could be a reason for why you could be challenged with your identity. What other reasons are there? Why would anybody challenge your identity and would want you to change your identity? I mean, I'm sure some of you have felt it living in a multicultural society.
They don't want their identity to be threatened. Like they think there's going to be a clash between their values. Excellent. Could be a clash of civilizations. They could think that, your identity is going to take over and then we will lose our identity. But by thinking that, what are they telling us? If they have the fear of your identity taking over, what does that mean? Well, it means that you're fundamentally rooted in your beliefs, that you're not just lip service, that you actually stand by what you believe in. It's not something that can be changed. It's something that...
But why would some identity take over another identity? I mean, if they're all the same, why would one take over the other?
Because if the other faiths have already opened up to compromise, then they run into that predicament. But if your identity is the only one that's not flimsy, and it's not willing to reinterpret its own initial values, then you become the new threat.
Very good. I would also say, because maybe they know there's something good in there that's going to be interfering with something in the system. Like what? Let me tell you this is really important. What does Islam call for? What is the main idea when it comes to Islam and humans on earth? Yeah.
Justice.
Justice is one thing. Second thing, peace. But on an individual level, what does Islam do to you?
Worship only Allah.
It connects you to God. And it makes you realize that He's the Almighty and all-powerful. And I think in many ways, a lot of people might not see that as good because, especially when it comes to power, people usually want you to listen to them.
What does that mean? Islam frees humanity from worshipping every idol and every whims and desires to worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So you become a free person. Islam makes you a free person. That's what it is. The Sahabi said, نخرج العباد من عبادة العباد إلى عبادة رب العباد. When they met with Caesar, I think it's Rabi ibn Amir, if I'm not mistaken, he was asked about his religion. He said, it's all about driving people from worshipping others, and by others could be humans, could be materials, it could be money, it could be power, it could be video games, it could be whatever it is, because a worship means complete obedience. Complete obedience. Complete blind following, that's it. Worship, to worshiping Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that makes you free from the influence of others. Anybody that wants to take advantage of you, anybody that wants to influence, you're free. You are a true, free human being. That's what Islam creates. Yes, unfortunately, this is not what we see in many, many cases being used against us. But is it because of Islam? It's another reason why your identity is challenged, by the way. Because in application, people say it's not working. So look at this area of the world, or that area, or this Muslim country. Look at them. It's not working. This is another challenge. It's not proven that it's working. Is it because of Islam? No, it's because of the wrong understanding and application of Islam. Like anything else. You don't use it properly, you don't apply it properly, it's not going to give you the results. That's why it's not working. Right. So, what is the problem of you being a free human being? Where is the problem with that? Don't we live in a free nation and a free world? And is there a problem of you being a free thinker in North America? Or no? Really, what do you guys think? Is there a problem with you being a free thinker? Yes, sister.
Because if you are free thinker, you're going to go against the values and system that is basically the structure of the society. So,
What system? What's the system that's behind the structure of the society?
so basically the foundation of the society, so
Oh.
the base of how the society is run. So for example, if it's a secular society and you're a free thinker and you're against that foundation and the base of it, they're gonna, if there are many people that are against it, it could break that base, that foundation.
Right. But what's more visible than that? I mean, and with all honesty, religion is the basis of this, and I'm not denying this. But what's the most clear? Like, if you want to talk to a non-Muslim, and you start saying secularism and religion and they will take an offense to it, or they will take a negative position. But if you discuss with them corporate world, a world that I come from, if you discuss business, free thinkers are not good for business. Why? Because you can make an educated decision on what's harmful and beneficial, which is the basis of Islam. Muslims should be the masters of making free choices based on harm and benefit, and that's no good for business. Why? Because business wants to sell you anything they want to sell you, they want to make it beneficial, even if it's harmful. Like what? Everything. Every single thing being sold to you. I mean, you just watch one medicine or drug commercial on the American TV. It's amazing. They have drugs for everything. It's unbelievable. They will tell you, they will show you happy people, smiling faces. Everything is great. This drug is going to make you the best person on earth. It's going to solve all your problems. It's going to make you healthier and this and this, and while smiling, and by the way, it's going to kill you, and by the way, it's going to give you heart problems, and by the way, you're going to have a third eye appearing in the back of your head. But it's amazing. This is see the manipulation of harm and benefit. It's in complete conflict with our religion. And we're the only ones that have that system still intact. So being free, evaluating based on harm and benefit is no good for business. So the challenge becomes even bigger and bigger and harder on all of us, especially the young ones. Especially the young ones. And unfortunately, a lot of people collapse in front of that challenge. A lot of people get to a point of believing that by adhering to my identity as Muslim, I have to give up a lot of opportunities of growth and prosperity. For example, people want to get into politics. They realize that they cannot be a Muhammad, they have to be a Mo, or they have to, starts with the name, then the look. Then if I don't participate in this party, I'm going to be an outcast. Then maybe I should start drinking, otherwise I'm not going to be accepted in the close circle, because it's all about connections. Okay, maybe I need to do this. Now every time you start following khutuwat al-shaytan one step at a time, you start giving up your identity because you want to fit in. Because right now your identity, as it appears to everybody else, is a truly, and this is the sad part for a lot of Muslims, it is a source of backwardness. I can't participate. I can't flourish. I can't do this, I can't do that. My name, my looks. A lot of Muslim youth that are graduating from universities, they're not comfortable getting into companies because maybe you don't stand a chance of growing. Or you have to give up your deen. And we've seen it a lot, right? We've seen it a lot. Compromise your deen, give up your deen so you can take the khair of a dunya that's being presented to you. Another concept I want to introduce to you that causes a challenge to your identity as a Muslim is the concept of monarchy versus anarchy. Those of you that heard me speak before, you probably heard me saying this several times because this is important. These are. I want to leave you today with understanding of how society works. Because you're part of this society, whether you like it or not. And if you are a different part, what do you think will happen to you in the society? If you're different than everything else and everybody else, and you are this in this society, normally what would happen to you? You will neutralize. You know what neutralization mean? What does neutralization mean in our discussion? You will not become different anymore. You will blend in. You will assimilate. This is a challenge that we have as Muslims, and we have to be aware of it. So we need to know the sources, the causes of this challenge, and we need to know how to navigate and how to deal with them. We need to know how to preserve our identity smartly, knowing how people think, presenting our case in a way that our identity is not a threat to this society. Our identity is actually an added value to this society. Our identity is actually capable of coexistence, capable of, it's tolerant, and capable of adding to the society. So the principle of anarchy versus monarchy. Who knows quickly what's the difference between both? Anarchy and monarchy. Monarchy or monarchist is the person that derives their do's and don'ts and their lifestyle and their way of life from an external source of authority. Like us Muslims or any religious people. What's your source of authority? Islam, Quran. It's an external source. Your parents, your community, anything that influences your decision in life. If it's external to you, you are a monarchist. Monarchist doesn't just mean that there's a king and a queen and a royal family. No. On an individual level, a monarchist who gets their source of authority, who has a source of authority that's external to themselves, and they get guidance on what to do and what not to do in life from an external source. An anarchist is what? The opposite of monarchist is al-insan alladhi ilahuhu hawa. A person that has a source of authority embedded in their desires and whims. Which means any decision they want to make comes from within, comes from al-hawa. What I like and I dislike. If I like it, I'll do it. Doesn't matter what it is. Do we feel that with the people surrounding us? You like it, do it. Do we feel that, those of you, probably most of you, how many of you went to full education system here from young age to university? Raise your hand. Most of you, right? So do you feel that this is how people operate? And when teachers talk to you, when anybody talks to you, it's about what you like, right? It's about you. You're being raised with absolute anarchist mentality. And this is a huge challenge to a Muslim. Because a Muslim is not an anarchist. I have to go back and check. I have to check with my deen. I have to check with what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants me to do or not to do. Because I don't know if I'm making the right decision. I don't know if I'm capable of making a right decision. What's the problem with that again? Why wouldn't a person deny someone that to have a frame of reference that they have to go back to for their decisions? What's the problem with that? It's no good for business. Why? Because when you are an anarchist and you are completely governed by your desires, who do you think controls your desires? It's marketing. They present to you things in a beautified way, and they got your desires, man. So you're not really an anarchist. The anarchy is a way to being controlled by others. The monarchy, you already set who you're going to be controlled by, which is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So, again, our identity as monarchists, our identity as people having sorts of authority, it's a challenge in this society. Whether we like it or not, it's real. Because you can't just go ahead and indulge. This is the message that we hear all the time. Go ahead, break the rules. This is the message that we hear all. We don't do that as a Muslim, right? So what defines you as a Muslim is a person that strongly admits and declares that I do not follow my desires. I follow my deen. And my deen comes from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala through the trusted sources that we have. And that makes me a person that's free from following anybody else. This is something that you need to hold on really, really, really tight. Weigh your actions. Look at everything that you're doing. Make sure you have a right source of information and frame of reference. Distinguish between, am I doing this for my own desires or not? And we also need to know that this is a huge challenge. Living in a complete anarchist society, or a society that cherishes when it comes from a business perspective. And again, I say business. We're not in a clash of civilization with anybody. We're not in a clash with anybody. Because we know in our deen, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave people the choice. It's funny, it's all about being free to make choices. But let's be realistic. People make choices to choose who's gonna run their lives. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, when He said, وَمَنْ شَاءَ فَلْيُؤْمِنْ وَمَنْ شَاءَ فَلْيَكْفُرْ, it's a choice to choose what? What's al-iman wal-kufr? In essence, choosing who's going to run your life. Can you as a human being run your life on your own? Is there give me one single human being living their lives completely on their own? Everybody has to follow something. Even the atheists that say, we don't believe in God, they're following somebody. Humans are not made to float on their own, because Allah created us this way. And this is one of the clear messages. Go ahead, run your life on your own. You can't. You have to follow somebody. It's a challenge. Would you rather follow Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that created you and knows everything about, or follow someone that wants to take advantage of you? And this is what's happening. So Iman is, I declare that I want to follow Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's system. Someone else wants to follow another system, go ahead. They make it appear, unfortunately, that you're following Allah's system, that means you're a slave. And I'm free. Complete lie. We're all slaves. We're all slaves, we all follow somebody. I'd rather be a slave to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala than being a slave to a dirham, a dinar. Ta'isa abd dinar, ta'isa abd dirham, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said, those who are enslaved by a dinar and a dirham, woe to them. These are they're losers. I'd rather be min ibad al-Rahman, a slave to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And that's my identity as a Muslim, is abdullah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So what is identity? Is you following a system. You being enslaved, it is what it is, by a system. Right? And that is what makes you a Muslim. Is it something weird? No, it's not. There are a lot of systems out there, a lot of societies out there that have single rules. Professional societies, engineering societies, doctors, unions. People are completely in adherence with these systems. Last thing I want to get to is the serious challenge from within. When you got Muslims that believe that identity is unfit for the modern times, and we have to change it, or we have to adapt, or we have to modernize, or all of a sudden, I can be an alcohol drinking Muslim, or a pork eating Muslim, or bringing something that doesn't make sense and changing principles, thinking they were modernizing Islam, which is completely wrong. Doesn't make sense. You can't come. If you change the principles of any system, you're changing the system. If you change the principles of any system, you're creating a new system. Islam's system are fixed. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, الْيَوْمَ أَكْمَلْتُ لَكُمْ دِينُكُمْ وَأَتْمَمْتُ عَلَيْكُمْ نِعْمَتِي وَرَضِيتُ لَكُمْ الْإِسْلَامَ دِينًا. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has perfected the deen. Part of our belief, part of our identity is our system is not subjected to change or growth. Done on time? So, ending with this, part of preserving your identity is knowing that it's fixed, it's not subjected to change. There are parts of our deen, not parts of our deen, part of our daily dealings that are subjected to development, technological development, different systems. These are subjected to development, but the core of your identity is fixed. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is one. Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam is his final messenger. As-salah, al-ibadat, al-iman, al-khamr will never change, al-khanzir will never change, our position on homosexuality will never change, our position on this will never change. These are principles clearly in the Holy Quran, drafted by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. No two learned Muslims will disagree on. And we need to act based on this. Why? Because unfortunately, lately in the last few months, there has been strong, open attempts from Muslims to change this. There are shuyukh that are considered shuyukh and imam of masajid that are calling these attempts as historic dinners. Or they're proud of this tolerant, brave moves. People are doing crazy stuff. And then they tell you, we're not attempting to change Islam, subhanAllah, as if they know that they're doing it. They know that they're doing it. Your Islam, your principles are fixed. Especially, again, emphasis on the main things that are known. No dispute between any ulama. But it's a call here for all the learned ones, all the shuyukh, all the principled shuyukh, to stand up and clear that confusion, because a lot of kids are getting confused. You all heard about that conference that took place in Grozny, the capital of Chechnya, redefining who are Ahl Sunnah wal Jama'ah and excluding everybody out of it. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen, there was a conference in Kuwait a couple of days ago, or yesterday, a couple of days ago, Allahumma lakal hamd, finally, where the ulama came together and they said, no, this is nonsense. So the identity challenge is that it's happening at a very high level, and it needs people to stand up. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala told us, حَتَّى لَا تَكُونَ فِتْنَةٌ وَيَكُونَ الدِّينُ لِلَّهِ. Stand up for your rights, so you will never lose your deen. If we sit down and allow things to happen, whether it's at the ulama level or at your level, knowledge seekers, may Allah bless you, you stand up when you feel that your identity is being threatened. Don't just say, oh, I'm okay. You need to stand up so the deen, the fitna will not come that will influence your deen. If you think that you're protected, your group might not be. So we need to work hard on protecting our deen. The idea of let them say what they want, they will fade away is wrong. We stand up, we adhere to these beautiful gatherings, to our shuyukh. We discuss the challenges that are threatening our identities, and we do something about it. Ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to preserve our deen. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to help us learn our deen, understand it, and apply it. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to preserve our hearts and grant us His love and love of Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to protect us of all the fitan, ما ظهر منها وبطن. اللهم احفظنا من بين أيدينا ومن خلفنا وعن يميننا وشمالنا ومن فوقنا ونعوذ بعظمتك أن نغتال من تحتنا يا رب العالمين. أقول قولي هذا واستغفر الله لكم. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.